Alright, welcome back to my channel, everyone. Today, I got recorded a full upper body day. I recently changed up my split from push-pull legs to upper lower, then a Charms day, or shoulder and arms. Been really loving it, this split. It's my first week doing it, but I've been really enjoying it. Using this split to try to prioritize some leg development and some arm and shoulder development. I feel like they're lagging body parts, but gonna get into that. Also gonna talk about my views on self-confidence at the end of this video, so I hope you all enjoy. Starting off the upper body day here with a bench press. As I've mentioned in the past, bench press is my absolute favorite lift, and I love starting off my upper body day with a chest exercise because I know this will be the most taxing exercise of my entire lift. In addition to that, I'm also on the road to 315, really trying to bring my bench press up. So, starting your upper body day with your biggest lift of the day and most fatiguing is always a good idea. I like to superset that with some external rotators. I've never had shoulder issues personally, knock on wood, but I'm really trying to prioritize shoulder health for the long run. So, great way to get some extra volume in without any added time cost. After that, I go into a T-bar row. Make sure to try to keep my chest glued to the pad on these reps. You'll see a little bit of cheating at the top, but for the most part, I do try to really wrap my shoulders around the pad at the bottom, then really squeeze my upper back to initiate the movement before pulling. And then I like to finish off any chest supported row variation with a Kelso shrug, as you see here. This really helps target the entire trap musculature and get some extra stimulus without any extra time cost or a dedicated shrugging movement. After that, since I already targeted my mid to lower chest with a bench press, I moved on to a Smith machine incline press, really focusing on getting a deep stretch at the bottom, controlling the weight down, and then pushing really hard on the way up and even against the rails a little bit to squeeze out a couple extra reps. Taking this movement all the way to failure. It's really stable, safe to do so. Finish off with some half reps. After that, I proceed to make a fool of myself by trying to struggle out of it before moving on to some lat pull downs. Since I already did a movement for my upper back with the T-bar row, I like to take a narrow grip on these, really focusing on letting my lats stretch to the absolute maximum at the top of this movement before squeezing them down, trying to bring the handles to just below my chin where your lats are at full activation. And then on this movement, just like the T-bar rows, once I barely squeeze out that last rep, I like to go into some just lat contractions here, help get some extra volume in on the lats without any extra time cost or fatigue cost. Then to finish off my upper body day, I love to move in some shoulder exercises. I'm prioritizing my side delts at the moment, so I start off with them first, really focusing on getting a big stretch, letting the handles drift behind my back before coming up to the top of the movement, focusing on a big squeeze, trying to keep my arm path the same each time, and then also just pushing this movement as hard as I can. Even though shoulders tend to be more of an accessory lift for a lot of people, I try to focus them as much as I can and still push them with the same intensity as some of my bigger lifts, as that's the way that your muscles are going to grow. After that, I like to superset my lateral raises with some rear delt flies here, making sure to focus on a big stretch at the top, trying to keep my arms as straight as possible without bending my elbows too much, and then focusing on a good squeeze at the bottom. I like having the cables a little higher for this. A lot of people have them at just about eye height, but I find I'm able to really try to drive my hand down into my pocket is the cue I think of, and that gets me a lot better of a rear delt contraction. Then to finish off the lift, gotta love it. Hit an arm superset here. Starting on some katana extensions, I love to stay on the same machine for both my shoulder and arm exercises because upper days can tend to run really long if you let them. And by staying on the same machine and doing two supersets, a shoulder and an arm superset, I save some of that time, still get some really good quality work in without having to worry about switching machines or moving around the gym too much. So push those katana extensions hard, focusing on a big stretch and a big squeeze before finishing off the workout with some Bayesian cable curls, really focusing on letting my tricep contract at the bottom so I get a full stretch in my biceps, then bringing my biceps up while trying to keep my elbows behind my body, but I'm not afraid of a little bit of swinging. Kind of bound to happen when you push these hard, and it's no worry really. And that's the entire upper body day I hit on my new training split. All right, getting to another one of these couch talks. Been really loving to do these my last few videos now. I think I got like 4 videos out with them, and gonna keep on talking here, sitting out, showing my thoughts. Been loving it. Hopefully y'all appreciate it. But one thing I wanted to talk about in this video was self-confidence and kind of my journey through self-confidence, my ideas around self-confidence, where it comes from, and how I've built self-confidence over the years. So for me personally, I've never been like, so that I think you typically describe as being very confident in myself or very confident in general. I think for a long time I didn't think I was good enough for a lot of things, whether that was an athletic endeavor, academically, whatnot. And because of that, I always felt like I had to work really, really hard to prove to not only other people but to myself that you are good at this or you do deserve that. And well, in a lot of ways, like it that insecurity drove me to be where I am today and to get good grades or take on athletic endeavors. It came from a place of self-doubt, and in general I think that it's a very unhealthy fuel source. It's not something you can use long term. It's more like it's like dirty energy. It's like energy from coal compared to like solar energy or nuclear energy. And that was how I lived my life for a very long time, honestly, up until recently, whenever I kind of realized like and burnt myself out that that wasn't going to be sustainable, that I needed to find a new energy source and more confidence in myself to build from a place of self-belief instead of a place of self-doubt. So really, starting in college, I tried to make that switch, and it kind of started with the mental side of things. First of all, I think a lot of people with poor self-confidence, or at least for myself, that you have really bad mental talk, or at least I did, where I'd be like, these are some of the reasons that I can't do this, or like you'll fail and you'll be like, oh, I'm not good at this. I can't do this. This isn't for me. And for me, like the biggest thing that helped was even when it was silly, I just added the word yet. Whatever it is, just like using the word yet is like a superpower. I don't know. Like it really helped me reframe like even if I'm not good at this right now, some date in the future, if I put enough work towards it, was how I thought of it, was that I will be good at it. And eventually, like I started using that for other things. It'd be like I think about like whenever something bad happened to me, like, oh, you're not strong enough. Or be like, well, I may not be strong enough, but I'm still stronger than 90% of the people my age who have been lifting for this amount of time. Like, just using simple ways of reframing your thinking was really powerful for me and really helped me switch the mental side of things. And eventually that kind of bled out into more like reality in a lot of ways, where it wasn't even like I'd have to flip the mental side. It was more like I just start thinking that way. I'd be like, well, I failed this lift today, or I failed this test, or whatnot. But that isn't necessarily a reflection on what this is going to be like forever and my skill level at this. It's my skill level at this right now. And I know that if I work hard, because in the past I have worked hard against these things, or I have worked hard for this and I've succeeded, that I will succeed. I know that for a fact because I've done it in the past and I've proved that to myself. And I think a lot of that is, and a lot of self-confidence is building a stack of evidence that you are 100% who you say you are. I think a lot of people, and for myself included, I lacked confidence because I would say things and I didn't feel like I did or could live up to them. And I think that's one of the biggest hits to your egos whenever you say things and can't live up to what you say or who you believe yourself to be. So over the course of years and years, I've really tried to not only adjust my talk, but adjust my actions to live up to be the man I say I am and do the things I say I'm going to do 100% of the time. And that has really helped me build confidence in myself and my abilities, because I know if I say something and if I put my mind to it, I will do it, no matter the time horizon or whatnot. And once you start building that stack of proof, it really transcends into believing in yourself and being the person that you say you are. And that is self-confidence, in my opinion. It is being 100% of the person you say you are and believing in yourself to accomplish what you set out to do and what you say you're going to do. That's been a big unlock for me, especially. And the last thing I'll say towards this was I think whenever I was at my least confident was also when I was at my least purposeful, or most lost would be a better way to put it. It was at a time in my life when I didn't know what I wanted to do anymore, where the mores I'd strapped myself to previously had kind of gone away, and I didn't feel like I was pursuing something that mattered to me and that gave me purpose. And in that time, because of that, I felt very unconfident because I was doing something and I was working hard, but it wasn't towards a goal I could really see or an outcome that in truth I wanted deep down. And eventually, and this was a long process as much of this stuff is, was that as I came to the realization of what I wanted to do and what I felt my purpose was through, especially this was reflected in my major, through switching to giving information out about health and fitness, pursuing that passion. Once I felt like and knew I was pursuing the right purpose for me and the right path for myself, it was just like it was a switch. I became more confident. I knew where I was going and I was comfortable and confident where I was headed. And it really unlocked my confidence in that and gave me a lot more confidence in myself as I continued to build up that stack of evidence as that I am who I say I am. So hopefully that's not too rambly. Try to cut this up so it's like somewhat coherent. But those are my views on self confidence. That's how I personally view how you can, and how I've built self confidence. And hopefully you find that helpful. Again, if you like this type of content, if you like these talks, if you like the lifts, anything like that, please follow me on all my social medias at Coop Gray Fit. I've really been appreciating a lot of my videos. Been doing a lot better lately. I've been getting a lot of support on YouTube and Instagram, and just appreciate every one of y'all who watches these. Additionally, with that, email in the description if you want to reach out for personal training. Would absolutely love to help or make a program, anything like that. And peace and love.